Bunny, and today's video is a video that I know several of you guys have been really looking forward to. It's going to be a tour of my brand new, freshly set up filming room. At first, I was going to sort of make this like a combination video because in my last filming room tour that I did right before we moved, I got so many really interesting and awesome questions from you guys about a lot of my objects and why I collect the things that I do. I decided about a couple of weeks ago to make a post on Instagram and ask you guys if y'all had like Q&A questions for the room tour. And I kind of thought it was going to be the same questions over and over again, like a lot of similar questions, but I was so happily surprised. I think right now there are over 3,000 question comments on that post. And there are so many good ones that I know that there will be no way that I will be able to combine a tour, which I feel like is going to be a little bit lengthier this time. In this space, have all of my items really properly set up and showcased, and I had a bunch of items kind of in storage. They were basically just in a room in our house, like in boxes wrapped up, that I had purchased in anticipation to move and decorate this space. And so for all intents and purposes, like there was a lot that was never displayed before that is now displayed in this space. So I feel like it's going to be even lengthier than the last room tour, so I don't want to just bombard you guys with like 1 2-hour long video. So we're going to split it up. Today's video is going to be the tour, and I'm going to film the Q&A today, but that's probably going to take me a little bit longer to edit, so that video should be up within the next couple of days. A lot of stuff to look at here. 99.9% of the items in this room are from years and years of collecting items from Uncommon Objects, which is a store in Austin. And I get asked a lot, and I know they get asked a lot, if they ship items or sell items online. So I'll go ahead and answer that question. Unfortunately, they do not. So it is a store that you have to go in and experience for yourself. But if you are ever in Austin, and you have got to make sure and stop at their store on South Congress. This just sounds like a total like ad, but it's not. I wish it was, okay? You guys, I have like fantasies about working in this store part-time. No joke. It is like my heaven on earth, my Disney World. I mean, I love Disney World too, don't get me wrong. With the gracious help of the owner of the store, Steve, who is an artist, and Van, one of my other friends who works at the store, who's also an artist, they so graciously came down for 2 days and helped me set my space up, which was such a blessing because I feel like I have an eye for items that I love, but I struggle with putting them together compositionally. I don't know why. So I feel so happy and blessed to have this space because this really makes my new house feel like home to me. So without further ado, before I get to answering too many of the Q&A type questions in this video, let's do the tour. Really quick, I do want to give a disclaimer again because I'm not trying to traumatize or disturb anybody, but there will be some taxidermy shown in this video. But once again, I want to stress to you guys, any of the bones that are in this room, they were like scavengered. They were found, and any taxidermy is either antique, ethically sourced. That's just a fine line. I know it freaks some people out, and some people it doesn't. So once again, I'm going to be filming this segment on the iPhone because I feel like the lighting is a lot better, and I'm struggling with the lamps as always. That's a tripod. That's not a lamp. That's a lamp. And of course, I'm filming at nighttime, like always. So these first 2 shelves are what we're gonna look at, and I had these built in, and I can't even believe it. After years and years and years of literally hoarding strange little objects and knickknacks, I don't have near enough stuff to fill most of the areas in this room. It's shocking. Here is a nice little baby train of headless baby dolls right there. So beautiful. Some of these objects you guys will probably recognize from my last filming room, like beautiful folk kitten, which somebody sent me in Swamp Family mail. I've got a little Piggly Wiggly here. Oh, here's my stool that I always sit on, which is pretty hilarious. I don't know what it means, but it says, beware, hot seat. I actually got this baby, I remember, from an antique store in LA that I went to with Kat. Here's just a lot of small objects. Souvenir from a state fair. It's a pennant flag. We've got a lot of smaller dolls. This was actually from a Halloween costume that I did a million years ago. And this is really cool. They are souvenir books. It's kind of like an autograph book that people would have, and they would sometimes press little plants or write little memos, seals, and just illustrations. And I think this is from the 1800s. I wish I could find, oh yeah, 1880. My year. This I have because it reminds me of Dead Man, one of my all-time favorite movies. It is a little canoe, a Boy Scout bell from 1944. And I have this little dog, which I got because of Dog Man. It's another bell, really shadowy back there. Some sort of shoe thing. This, which came off of a skate, an ice skate, a Swamp Family member sent me that. We've got a headless baby. We've got a baby with a head, another headless baby. That one way up there is headless. We've got like a cool clown doll, some other stuff, and my little pile of stuffed Babelies. I love sock dolls, sock monkeys. He's supposed to be the big bad wolf. I got him antiquing one time, 3 minutes on one shelf. We gotta make this quicker. This is an Oddfellows flag, which is gonna freak some people out. I know, Illuminati, but I love the imagery, so I bought it. I have it. I don't know. This really cool set of baskets, which I had wired in as a light fixture. I also got those from, oh, there's my finger, from Uncommon Objects. Of course, I'm not even going to say that anymore. All right, moving along into this gigantic shelf section, which is also built in. And I'm going to try and just go over this real quick, because otherwise this is going to be like a 6-year-long video. Of course, we have dolls and buckets and this really awesome portrait, which came from Swamp Family Mail. I love a lot of paper things, old papers like old journals, ledgers, letters. So that's what that is. And it came tied with that beautiful ribbon, and I don't even want to like disrupt what's going on there. I've got this plate. I love old broken plates. People say I'm a hoarder. It might be true, but at least I display my hoard in an elegant sort of fashion. It all goes together, you know? Here is some other little knickknacks. This is like an old wallet. We have old receipts from like 1908 and a stack of old portraits. Still trying to think of a really cool way to display these guys so that they can be seen more. More portraits. This really amazing old pair of shoes, which I wish I could wear on my feet. I might try it someday. More portraits. These are actually called ghost portraits. You can barely see that anything is printed on there because they're, you know, I don't know what process this is, but look at these two little kids. I mean, they're just amazing. Like, I could spend like a whole video just showing stuff like this to you guys. I have some architectural salvage, some letters. I've got this little small skull from an I don't know what, and I've got this little mouse in a teacup, and it is an antique Dallas like toothpick holder souvenir with a little mouse inside. He's just so sweet. And I have like a soldier with no head. I call these ghost cars. They're so awesome. They're like little see-through. They're almost like Hot Wheels or something. I really don't know why they're clear. More architectural salvage. More bones, which you guys have already seen from my last video. This is the same bones that I had. Once again, all ethically sourced, found bones. I've got some cards of antique buttons. This portrait of a boy I love. It is on glass, and I don't know, like the glass doesn't feel broken, but just something has happened here over time, and I love stuff like that. I've got a little platter here full of found, I don't think that these are frozen Charlotte, but they are all like porcelain doll pieces, little arms, legs. We got a whole platter of them sitting there. This is a really old bar of soap. I think you guys might remember that from my last room tour video. We've got her, she's beautiful. She's got this little puppy friend, and Alfred's girlfriend is here. I have my religious cabinet card, another platter with small porcelain babies, and I think that those are called geodes. And then I have this beautiful doll, which came to me in Swamp Family mail. Down here, I have a really awesome copper mold, and this is for making baby doll legs. And then I just have many dolls down here. And I have this one whose head is just like melted and squished, flat headed baby. I don't know. It's pretty cool. And then down here is my little Prince marionette puppet. I don't know why he's facing this way. I guess he just doesn't have anything to say right now. Here is a shelf of broken baby doll parts, arms, legs, bodies, whatever. I really intend on displaying these better over time, but right now they're just kind of there until I get my creative juices flowing. This I'm actually gonna drag over to my desk. It is one of my favorite pieces. I think I showed you guys this in a haul before, but it is a super thick old ledger book, and it is full of all sorts of things having to do with cowboys, like cowboy movies. And I mean, it's just every single page has newspaper clippings, magazine clippings, and I'm in love with this thing. I feel like I should make like a whole vlog just flipping through the pages of this cowboy scrapbook. It's all just so old. I mean, I don't know. I'm so glad that this was saved and that I have it. I mean, can you imagine how many years this took someone to keep and glue down all of these cowboy clippings? It's so cool. But I have it displayed facing this way so you can kind of see the texture of all of the pages. This is some sort of collar. I don't know if it came from a church, like a priest collar, or it might be more Oddfellows stuff. I really don't know. I bought it. It's beautiful. I kind of have the intention of sewing this onto a denim jacket or something. I have just some more doll pieces. This beautiful blue doll, and this moss, which was from my tartlet shoot, a small piece of architectural salvage. Up here is baby doll land. I've got some small babies, doll heads. They are all so beautiful. They are all my friends. Look at this one. It crawls. Up here is just more doll heads, and this shelf is, well, I was gonna say it's strictly for heads, but here is some garlic, some thread, a beautiful toy ball that was given to me by a Swamp Family member at a meet and greet, and then I have some blue tins. We have some dolls just hanging on the side, some doll arms on the side. Up here is kind of a shelf of red colored items. Lots of different red or gold things. And then this sock monkey who is just hanging here, and I love it. And then up there, I just have some more just cool stuff, kind of a yellow theme. I love this giant tobacco tin. I got this weird foam clown in New York, a toy typewriter that came from Swamp Family Mail. So we've got a baby doll up here, and then a collection of blue sort of colored items. We've got some jars, another shelf of blue and teal items, and I love this little celluloid puppy. He has a top hat and a little cane like he's a performer. And I've got this little blue wooden bead doll and some keys, and this doll which is dressed in blue. So this is Alfred's cousins, basically. They are all celluloid dolls. So they are made of a really lightweight, thin plastic. And then I have this, which I made. And honestly, I don't know. I posted this on Instagram and it totally disturbed some people. So if it's disturbing you now, I'm sorry. I just wanted to wire them together to display them better. And, you know, I feel like when they're kind of all on top of each other like this, they lose just a little bit of character. So I'm always trying to think of new ways to display them. So sort of like their faces and personalities can be shown. Down here, I have some small metal objects, some roller skates, you know, like an old gauge. These actually weigh different sorts of grains and stuff on farms, even these teeny tiny little weights, cars, portraits, a rubber cricket, and my really awesome tuberculosis therapy glasses, which I think I've talked to you guys about before. And we have another baby mold back here. I wired these babies together, so it's like a bigger headless baby holding a smaller porcelain baby. I have displayed and tacked up a lot of my tin photos. So they're kind of just going all the way up the side of the shelf here. Just more really interesting knickknacks, a small statue of the Alamo, my little football player, an old piece of coral, I think it is, a slinky back there, antique beaded whimsy, this little pillow, which always fascinates me. I don't know if it was a pincushion or a doll bed or what it is. We have small metal objects, this crazy dog toy, which is really cute. He's on wheels, he rolls back and forth, and his mouth opens. He kind of makes a squeaking noise. Fascinating. Old shoe, car, arrowhead, miscellaneous metal things. There's my acid bottles and I don't know, just some random tea lights and stuff back there. This is actually for serving ice cream in. You would put the ice cream cone in it. I think this was probably like in the 40s or 50s. Mercury beads, which are possibly poisonous. I don't know what these things are, but they fascinate me. I love the texture. I love the look of them. So we wired them together and hung them here. And then we just have some doll bodies like so. And this little guy who's on the floor, you guys might remember him. He came from Swamp Family Mail. That is pretty much all of the shelves that we have like that, except for the desk, which is over here. Wha-bam! So I've got some shelving up here too. Also, taxidermy warning. I bought this from an antique dealer on Etsy who sells out of France, but this little buddy is over 100 years old. I don't know how they did things like 100+ years or so ago, but you guys know that Dead Man is one of my favorite movies, and that is why I got this little guy, because it reminded me of that movie. I hope it's not offending anybody. I'm really nervous about showing this because I don't know. I might edit this out. I don't know. Stacks of books, stacks of photographs, some blank space up there, some tape, which doesn't really belong here. I've got a collection of glass bottles and stuff. I don't even know what these are. I just bought them because I love the look, the color, and the texture. And then I have some old printer blocks here. I've got 2 antique top hats, just some other bottles and gauges, and this little white pony. More old books up there, my old hat box, and that too is an old printer's block, that SNI, INS. Just some miscellaneous objects up there. These are all just different desk drawers. I was actually just unpacking them and thinking we would move them all into different areas, but Steve came in and just absolutely loved the way they were sitting. So we just left them here, displayed like this, sort of as like, you know, a little piece of art. My infamous light bulb jar, a small frog statue, another top hat, and lots of more jars. Jars with strings, jars with things, and an old tape measure, an old cheese grater, spice grater. I don't know what this thing is, but I looked at it for 2 years before I bought it, but it's like a small dog, like trapped in this really neat like glass frame. I don't know. I've always loved it. So I finally got it. And then this is just kind of like my desk that I haven't set up yet, and no man's land. There's just some dolls sitting up here and some glass domes that I haven't done anything with yet. Antique doll lamp. So originally she would have probably had a dress or a skirt, but you know, I mean, it can't be used as a lamp really anymore, but she still looks very fascinating. And a jar of dolls. So it's just arms, legs, bodies, but I just bought this jar the way that it is. And then these old letters, I think that these came from like, I don't know, road construction or old signs or something. I got these in Dallas at a store called Curiosities. It's time to get into the meaty part of the room. So I call these baby skins, which is probably disturbing. Headless antique composition dolls that have no stuffings stuffed inside of their bodies anymore. So now it just looks like baby skin. But I don't know, I want to keep finding baby skin, and I hope I can just like put, you know, just kind of cover this whole section with this. Now is probably arguably my favorite aspect of this room. I don't know, it's hard for me to pick a favorite, but I certainly love this. Finally, a proper way to showcase all of my beautiful babies that I have been collecting for so many years. And now they finally have a happy place where all of their faces can be seen. I feel like definitely in spaces in the past, they were kind of just all stacked together and jumbled up on top of each other, and you didn't really get to see each and every single one of them, but now you can. There's like a shelf that I have built in going around basically the entire perimeter of this room, and it's just covered with babies. Here is one of my prized possessions. It is that antique quilt, and I feel like by now not covering it with a lot of stuff, you really can see all of the beautiful colors and textures of it. You can really see the tattering and the ripping, which is some of my favorite parts. This is just like a little wind chime hanging up here, an antique painting of roses. Down here is my little wooden spindle of I don't know what. My antique tool sign has moved here, and we hung up a couple of babies on the wall. I love this one particularly. I particularly just love these little like strings. I'm pretty sure that this would have been her wig, and somehow she just, I don't know, has like a wig cap on or something. I don't know what's going on with this fabric on her head, but I love it. No arms. Two small pairs of gloves. I'm assuming these were children's gloves, or they've really shrunk over time. I don't know what this silver thing is, but it's hanging on my wall, and I like it. I have these keys, which I had Van hang because I love the look and I love the texture of them, but I'm very freaked out by rust. So it's like on a ring. I have no idea what's up with all these keys. I think that I purchased those from a Etsy seller who's in France as well. This was actually cut out of a painting and reframed. This is from Pocket Full of Heirlooms. I know that I've mentioned her before on my channel. I have two small framed pictures, and they each have two portraits in them. So there is that. One of my paint brushes, which if you guys saw my last room tour, I collect these bad boys. I don't even really know what this is. It's just a clasp. I like it. This is an old dog collar hanging here. Once again, very, very old. I don't know whose dog it came off of. So here is like just a little plaster baby. This is like a cross stitch thing. We are getting a nasty glare, but I thought it would be better to bring some lamps over here. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. It says friendship, love, and truth, and it is stitched by hand back in the old days. I've got like some sort of piece of driftwood with a bunch of keys strung up on it. The number 5, a framed collection of small portraits, and this is the wooble-headed sheriff. He doesn't have his badge right now though, so I guess he's not the sheriff, but You guys might remember seeing him in my last video. I've got a clipboard up here, and I've got this wire thing. I don't know what it is. I bought it because I love the texture of it. This is my grain ruler, and somehow this measures grain. I do not understand. I think I'm drawn to a lot of farming, farm things because of my grandpa. Here is a good example of that. It is some sort of farmers union sign, a grouping of paintbrushes, old paintbrushes. Up here is a plaque. It says strange but true, and this was actually done by one of my favorite artists whose name is Butch Anthony. Look him up. Another one of my prized possessions, you guys know, which is my ghost baby painting. And then I have this smaller shelf, which once again came from my old filming room, if you guys saw that. So I still have this thing, still don't know what it is. It's got some sort of gears. I think it was maybe something for fibers, thread, yarn, something like that. And I have this old light socket that we strung on it, and a small pin cushion down here. I have this sort of like smirking baby. I think he's a bank. I don't know what he is. Yeah, he's technically a bank, but he's like an old style bank where you used to have to bust them open to get your money out of him. So I would never put money in him. I have two small little coin purses and a authentic carpet bag back here from the 1800s. Small bottle. I've got this weird drum. I don't know what's up with it. It has a face on it. I don't know what that means, what it's from. I just thought it was really weird, so I thought it needed to come live with me. I have one of those albums tacked up back here. It once again is like a souvenir album that I showed you at the beginning for autographs, stuff like that. A bunch of paintbrushes. This came from my old filming room. I have these two things in this shelf, which I think are some sort of like grain containers or for flour. I think something from a kitchen, an old hotel key. I don't know what this thing is, but I love it. It's just like this scrumpled metal ball. I've got some letters, some old pictures, newspaper clippings back here. This is 3 old tobacco bags, and then just a doll laying here. She's absolutely beautiful. And then I have my collection of Freakish teddy bears, and they are old and beautiful, and I love them. They're all friends. They're hanging out here together. Then I have these 2 dolls. One was a Christmas present from Dogman years ago. So their names are Onion and Slunion Baby. And then they are on top of that beautiful piece of tapestry. It's like a quilted, you know, wall hanging thing. It was probably like for a table back in the day, but now it's a wall hanging because it's hanging on my wall. And I have this, which is just a collection of baby doll legs, bodies, arms, and all that jazz. I have these 2 sisters up here. I have this piece of art, which I think is from an artist named Pinky Diablo, and I bought this at Dolly Python as well. I'll be able to show you this one a little bit clearer, but they are altered antique photographs. And I have this beautiful shadow box that Steve put together, and I love how this turned out. There is my collection of doilies, and I've got one of my fly swatters with bells on it. This is a collection of pieces from old bits, bridles, and saddles. A set of keys, which just looks like it's levitating in here. And I have a stack of books down here that are diaries, and it was all from the same guy, like the same person in the early 1900s. And then I have some books in here, and my little itty bitty squished peanut baby. I love him so much, but he is on his last leg. I'm surprised he has survived because he is flat. Another antique painting of flowers. I've got a collection of eyeballs, which were all cut from paintings and put in these little circular frames. One of my portraits. Then I have this really awesome large composition doll, and I just love how crackly she is. And I purchased this one from a seller in England, I believe. This is an old flour sack from Germany. I love the texture. And then I have an antique mannequin here from the Victorian era with a cage, and it has this awesome jacket, which I really totally feel like I could make a separate video about. And it's from this thing, and I don't really know if it has something to do with Shriners. I'm not really familiar with the club, but it was called the Cootie Club. And it is a vest that is just covered in everything that you can and can't imagine. Ribbons and small plastic objects and larger stuffed animals. It's all tacked on here. It's so cool. So many ribbons. I mean, literally, it would take like an entire video just to go through all of the cool stuff on here. And honestly, I've had it for probably over a year and I haven't even looked at all of the items on it. So it would be a surprise even to me. I have I think it is a pin cushion actually, and it says "Forget Me Not," and it's a heart. This was antique architectural salvage, and I believe it was like a piece of staircase railing. And I have this, which is really cool. It is carved wood, but it is made to look like a chain. How does somebody even do that? I have no idea, because it's all linked and nowhere does it look broken. So it's like someone seriously carved this like connected, like it blows my mind, honestly. And I have this, which is a pair of antique antlers, and I believe that that came from Germany. Once again, I apologize if taxidermy like things freak you out. Another small shadow box, which we did not get around to decorating yet. I don't know what I'm gonna put in there, but it's gonna be really cool. There is my mirror that you guys may recognize from my last filming room. And then I have a ton of small clear bottles that we wrapped with wire and hung up to, you know, kind of give this really awesome staggered effect. We're almost done here. So this is another antique quilt, which you guys have never seen before, and I love this one as well. It's very similar to that one in terms of color and fabric used, but this has all these amazing, this is my favorite part, are these strawberries. It has some three-dimensional beaded areas. These, which are three-dimensional grapes. It's got daisies, and I think that there are cherries on here somewhere, but we had to kind of fold it over to make it fit this space. Oh, maybe I was thinking of these strawberries as well, but it's just got lots of really different, interesting things on it. Here is another one of those portraits from Pinky Diablo. And so they take like two different small cabinet cards and then they cut them and splice them together. So it's like a man's face, a woman's torso, a man's torso, and the bottom of a woman's dress. It's just amazing. I absolutely love it. This is the last thing, which is a beautiful antique handbag. Love it. And then this is just my same desk over here that I have always had, and all my wires to plug in my lamps. So that is it for today's room tour, and I'm sorry it was super lengthy if long videos is not your thing, but I do feel like there is a lot of itty bitty tiny things to look at in here, and so it's very easy for it to be a very, very long video. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm gonna drink my bottle of water since I'm parched. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today and for watching. If you're not already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below, subscribe, become a member of the Swamp Family, and give an alligator its wings. Also, if you want, you can like me on Facebook, facebook.com/GraveyardGirl, or you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, or Instagram @GraveyardGirl, same way it's spelled here. I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all tomorrow.